The other key thing about a captain as well is that it is capable of having a companion character known as a herald. So in my case, I've got an Oathbreaker Archer. You can skin those. There's various other ones. So you could have like a Rohirrim swordswoman. You can have a dwarven guy. A man. Whatever. There's loads of different combinations. And you can summon them as one of 4 different archetypes. So there's like an Archer, which is what I'm using because it's focused purely on DPS. And then there are 3 buffing ones, which are the Herald of Hope. So he carries a banner which gives us mitigation improvements to ourselves and our allies and their pets, and anyone in our fellowship in our raid gets that, or at least on our... No, I think they changed it, didn't they? So it works on all of the raid, not just the fellowship.
It should be all of the raid, yeah.
So yeah, everyone who's in the raid will get that buff. The Herald of Victory, which reduces the power cost of those around it. It used to be quite good back in the day, but these days no one really has power problems, so it's not really...
Wasn't even that good back in the day.
Well, it had its uses.
Occasionally.
And then the third one is the Herald of War, so that increases the damage of those around you, so that one is quite nice. But all 3 of these guys are heralds which do those buffs, but you can also get some banners which you can manually place down instead.
You can't, not anymore.
Oh, they changed that?
They changed it. This is what I was about to say.
I was going to say, because that's still on the trading option.
I prefer... You can still equip your banners, yeah? And they still give you stats, yeah? And
you can't deploy the banner.
But you can't deploy it on the field anymore. It used to be that if you look on Bal's character select screen, where his ranged weapon slot is where you would either put a Herald Armament, which would improve the base stats of your Herald, such as improve its armor or its damage capability, as opposed to like just using the base stats that the Summoned Herald comes with. Or you could slot instead what was called a banner, and it came in 3 variants: Banner of War, Banner of Hope, Banner of Victory. And what these did is, similarly to what Bal's just described on the Heralds, they give various buffs. They come with base stats which modify your captain directly. So the the Banner of War used to give you +% melee damage, as well as giving you physical mastery and an amount of HP. The Banner of Hope gave you a large amount of HP, and the Banner of Victory gave you an amount of HP and amount of power. But beyond that, because you were then using a banner instead of an armament, you couldn't summon a herald anymore. But instead, the item itself was reusable, and by summoning it, the captain would essentially pull a banner out of their back pockets and plant it on the ground, which would create like an AoE buffing effect. And anyone who was stood within it used to get a bonus. So the War one gave a DPS bonus to your team. The Hope one gave you +1 Hope, which was useful back when Dread actually existed, as well as giving a large HP buff to additional HP to anyone else who was in the area. And the Victory one gave a balance between power and health. When they changed everything with the Helm's Deep expansion, they got rid of this, which makes a lot of the captains kind of annoyed. Though the banners still exist, they are still made by tailors, and they are still in the game and can be equipped by the captain to give them additional base stats, but they can no longer be deployed as a like party buffer onto the field. Instead, through each of your class trait lines, if Bal will show you at one point, you will get, about halfway down each line, you will get a skill called Standard of Insert, like line here, Standard of War, Standard of Hope, and I think I'm not sure if it's Standard of Victory or something else. And it essentially becomes a deployable banner that lasts for 30 seconds on a 1-minute cooldown that kind of has replaced it in that it offers, the buffing aspect of what the banners did before. But this time there's like a usable skill called a Standard. I don't like them as much as they used to. The Standard of War, however, is very, very good. It offers a significant DPS increase to anyone who's standing within the aura. The rest of them, not as good in my opinion, and I do miss being able to throw down my Standard.
But it is really confusing now as well, because you've still got the Herald equipment, which will give your Herald a buff. So in this case here, I've got the Man at Arms Herald thing, which I can equip. But nowadays you can trade those back in to get a token from your class trainer, and that token can be used to get any other one.
I think it's because
But here's the thing: you use that token to get the skill. So in my case, I have 2 skills now. I've got the generic call to arms archer for summon an archer, and I've got a skill which is specifically summon an archer oathbound. But if I've still got the Man at Arms Herald item equipped, I actually summon a Man at Arms, not an Oathbreaker. So I kind of don't get what they're doing with this, because either I'm summoning an Oathbreaker or not. Why give me a skill if it's still going to be affected by the cosmetic of the equipped item? Which is kind of pointless. But
I think what they were trying to do essentially was to phase out the armaments by baking in the stat improvements into the trait line, into the DPS trait line.
Essentially, what it seems to be that they were trying to go down the Lawmaster route, whereas the Lawmaster has a skill to summon a particular cosmetic variant of a pet, and that's it, and off you go. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about stats and that. It's just pick your cosmetic of choice.
Yeah.
But they seem to have only half-assed implemented this, so it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah. It's because obviously, the Lawmaster ones were a consumable drop that you found in the world or whatever, where the Captain Armaments are a created recipe. Yeah. So it was a bit different in that regard, I guess. Still, it's an absolute pain in the ass. I don't like it. It doesn't work as well as it should. But the other thing, back in instances before they made all this change, a captain was expected to run a banner, not a herald. One, because the banner gave buffs directly to the captain himself, which the captain wanted, and which was certainly better than the negligible buff that a herald would have in terms of team DPS or whatever. 2, it allowed the captain to place the herald as the standard on the battlefield as a point AoE source, yeah? And 3, it meant that you didn't have to put up with the stupid, godforsaken companion AI.
Not to mention that the companion died quite frequently.
And that's the other problem. Companion deaths happened all the goddamn time, because they're squishy as hell compared. And you didn't used to be able to summon them in combat either.
No, so once they died, that was that. So
there went your buffs. However, they are now summonable in combat if they do die. But you still have to face the same problem, that in order to have your tasty buffs, it's reliant on keeping a rather stupid and a squishy AI companion alive. And it's bad. I don't like it. I don't like captains all that much at the moment, and that's a sad thing, since the captain was my second main character, wasn't it?
It was my main character back in the day. So, yeah.
God, I've seen you play
that's why Balthelion is my namesake, because that was my original man captain character.
Yeah, but you transitioned off to the burglar a long time ago.
I did, yes, because I love the burglar. Or burglars. I should probably do a video at some point explaining the headcanon, like the lore behind.
God, not the headcanon.
Not the lore behind my Hobbit burglar lasses, because that is epic. I have to narrate that at some point in a special bonus video.
Epic is questionable.
Oh, fanfiction OP.
Yeah, literally, that's exactly what it is. Not even sure if I'd call it OP, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
go on.
The captain itself, it is the jack of all trades, as we've said, but I find it patch dependent, especially these days. It's either, the jack of all trades crap at them all, or it's jack of all trades godlike at them all. And it really depends on what turbines rolling the dice on these days. Sometimes they are brilliant, other times I literally couldn't care less about having a captain on my team. Because, captains were primarily there to protect, heal, and buff your other parties. Skills like Oathbreakers is a classic one. It basically magnifies all damage that a mob takes for by 25% for 10 seconds. It was used for bursting down a boss when they reached dangerous thresholds. So if you knew that a boss was going to go enraged at about 20% of his HP, you would hold your captain's Oathbreakers until it got to that point. Then you would use Oathbreakers, and you would use all of your big damage modifier skills and try to bring down that boss as quick as possible. So you spent as little time as possible when the boss was in that dangerous point where he could kill everyone in sight, to try and maximise your chances of success. And then that was always a must-have skill, wasn't it? Frankly.
Yeah.
but then you add other skills, like other great protection skills, like Shield of the Dunedain, because captains can only be men, because only the Numenorians apparently mastered the art of like inspiring people, because the captain itself is based off Boromir and to a lesser extent Elendil, the original leader of the Numenorian men during the Second Age, who fled Numenor when it kind of became like a corrupt shithole, because they remained like true to the Valar and Aenyu and all that stuff. It's extended lore nonsense, isn't it? Really. Mm-hmm. But like they say that Elendil was the finest of fine captains. Inspired his men to do all sorts of heroic feats or whatever. I don't know why we still keep killing snow beasts when we don't need them.
Well, I don't know, you're running off. I went and grabbed the chest down here, and you were off down somewhere south doing stuff.
I was getting some wood.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was.
Off in the bushes getting wood?
Yes, I was.
And why is there only a bear over there?
Well,
what were you doing with the bear?
Look. The bear won't tell, and neither will I.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, the initial thing is that all captains are kind of, like, men and, like, of descent of Numenorian blood, despite where you can end up picking them to come from, like, places like Dale or Breland, where they probably didn't have Numenorian blood anyway. But Shield of the Dunedain, basically, minus 75% damage incoming on a target that you select for a period of time as well, which used to be able to be modified by a legacy, but I think they removed that.
You're still killing snow beasts.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just.
If we head southeast, there's some bears down here. So
that was like a great skill. It still is a great skill for keeping your tank alive in like that really hairy situation. Unfortunately,
yeah, it was situational back in the day, but since the revamp and that, it's kind of become better. Mainly because, as you say, before you had higher priority skills to put in those limited slots. So
yeah. The problem is back before they did Helm's Deep, you essentially had 3 legendary trait slots and you had 7 legendary traits. The problem is the captain wanted to slot all 7 of them, but could only slot 3. It's a minor issue.
Some other people down here.
I mean, I used to love Blood of the Numenor as well, but you could never really run Blood of the Numenor either.
This man's giving us evil stares.
Have you put your RP tag on?
I should put my RP tag on and see if we can get some comical interactions as we go. You are now role playing. There we go. So now, since we are on the RP server, there we go. I've just aggroed something. I actually can't really see it because I won't put my own name tag on. My name tag will see. Well, I won't see it for you because you're on my fellowship as well.
Yeah,
so you'll be.
And I mean, your kinships all show up as light blue, even if there wasn't any.
Yeah, but our name tags will appear to other people as white rather than like a sort of beigey, creamy colour.
Still need 2 more bears.
I know, but the other people have killed the bloody bears. There might be a few around the corner here.
There might be 4 more up the hill, yeah.
No, not.
But, yeah.
2 more bear hides. I need some jagged fragments. There's a pile of snow over here.
But Captain ran over, yeah? Otherwise we'll be here all session just writing about how they've changed the captain.
Well, the whole region we're meant to be talking about the captain, pros and cons, but I think what I should probably do though is
it's bad.
yeah, talk about the captain's trait lines actually, because I still got a point I haven't spent yet. But as with most classes, it has a DPS line. Every class has a DPS line these days, which is the red line down the middle. That's what I've gone for the purposes of this, just because it's easiest to level with. But the other 2 lines are Hands of Healing, which is the blue one.
Oh, that was legend back in the day.
And, well, it's still pretty decent at the the moment.
Yeah, it is, but everyone goes yellow.
I always hated Hands of Healing Captain. Where are you? Because there's a bear next to me.
I've got 3 bears here.
Oh, okay.
Hands of Healing can't be brilliant.
No, but I hated being a Hands of Healing Captain back in the day because you're like essentially being a healer in that. You're just a buff bot. You just stand there and click the heal skills. It's not even fun like playing a proper healer where you have to kind of like juggle your aggro and stuff. You just
melee range buff bot.
Yeah, but you're a buff bot which has 0 fucking deeps while you're in that trait line.
Oh, sorry, because if you ran red line back then, you were doing so much fucking deeps with
No,
Shadows.
you weren't.
Shadows
But
limit
that's the thing.
with it.
I was a yellow cappy. I have traditionally always been a yellow cappy, even though every bloody expansion, what a yellow cappy was changed.
Well,
Like,
that's true,
one minute it's like a supporty one, the next minute it's a buffy one, the next minute it's a tank. You know,
Yeah.
I was just always a yellow cappy through and through. But yeah, like Hands of Healing, you can quite happily heal 3-mans as a captain. Always have been, really. At the moment, yes, unless it's a particularly hard 6-man, like some of the level 100 stuff. I think it might be questionable. Don't quote me on that.
You can still heal him with a cappy, with a.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
I haven't really tried, but to a certain extent, yeah, captains can heal 6-mans. Captains can't be healing at a 12-man raid, or shouldn't be. If you're trying to do like a level 50, yeah, captains generally fill the role of an off healer in a raid, or a 6-man group, or whatever. You know, they just like throw in a couple of extra heals here and there, but they're not primarily responsible for the healing. Just kind of like help out the healers. Stick defensive buffs on the tank, so the tank takes less damage, or your fellowship takes less damage if there's going to be a nasty AoE attack or something like that.
Have you seen how many like extra healing skills they get though by trading down the Hands of Healing line?
Yeah, they get quite a few now these
They get
days
quite a few more,
since the revamp.
Yeah, I mean, before you used to get access to like Valiant Strike, didn't you? And it's reasonably powerful heal over time.
Yeah.
But now they get access to a hell of a lot more.
But yeah, and then the yellow trait line, Leader of Men, that's the tanky trait line, and at the minute it is locked in as a tank. I don't think they're probably going to change it anymore.
Probably not, no.
But the two key things to take away from the captain's trait line is, one, they get a massive percentage bonus to morale while they're in that trait line. 25%?
25% and the ability to block with two-handers.
And yeah, the ability, they can block with a two-handed weapon, so be that a great sword or a halberd, whatever they're using. Great axe, I think they can use as well, can't they?
Yes.
They can block with that without having to equip a shield, so that can be quite nice as well. So they can still do, a fair bit of damage, given that these days damage equals threat in tanking.
Unless you have force taunts.
Unless you have force taunts, which they wanted to remove, but then they put them back in, and don't get me started on that.
Yellow line, the captain in yellow line gets 2-3 force taunts.
So yeah, it's
more than enough to be played with.
it's quite a sturdy, capable tank. It's still not as good as like the Warden or Guardian for actually like being a proper main tank, but it's certainly capable these days.
That's definitely questionable,
It can soak up the damage. I'm not really convinced on its proper threat generation, but
you haven't done too much in the way of like level 100 end game stuff and that. But if you talk to someone like Aid would take a captain tank over a Guardian or a Warden these days.
At the end of the day, it depends on does the player know what they're doing, I guess.
They can actually get I think because of the yellow line, they can end up with like 68% mitigations as well, which is pretty damn sturdy.
It is indeed. Where are you at the moment?
Rivendell.
You've gone down to Old Treasures, is that? No.
No, Old Treasures.
Missing Fragments.
Yeah, I've handed in the fragment thing.
Missing, I'm for my ass down there, fuck it.
Missing Treasures takes you a while to High Crag area. But yeah.
Okay.